This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. The following program is rated PG and may contain language and material that may be slightly offensive to some audiences. Due to operator error, this episode of The Havery Show is presented in audio form only. Sincere apologies are extended. With us on today's episode of The Havery Show is a feather in my cap, because today we have sitting member of the Florida House of Representatives, District 83, Kaylee Tuck. Hello there.
Hey, I'm probably the most nervous member you ever had on your show.
Oh, no. For some reason, people come in nervous, and I get it. It's different, and it's kind of, it's kind of weird at first, but we're just having a conversation, so there's nothing to it.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, so tell me about the highest level of education and some of the hardest math courses, and maybe, I'm kidding.
I don't like that.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
I took what's called math for lawyers, which is how you count money, and that's about it. So
well, let's jump right in there. You're a lawyer, a land use lawyer.
Land use, local government, real estate, whatever else you need me to be.
Well, I don't know what a land use lawyer is, and I don't know what they do. So enlighten me.
So it's basically horizontal development. So your zoning, your comprehensive plan, how many houses you can build per acre on your property, things like that. So everything downtown is land use stuff, and all the stuff they're doing out on the Parkway, all the zoning there, what you can and can't build, how it's going to be used, is it commercial, is it residential, and all that fun stuff.
So somebody wants to put in a development in the city limits somewhere.
Yeah.
They come to you, and then are you a liaison between them and the city council? Is that how that works? Do you represent them, or do you do the background stuff?
It depends. So every now and then I'll do a real estate transaction where they're buying a piece of property, and I'll do what's called a due diligence memo. So that's kind of the back end of it, and you go over what the property is now and things like that. And then on the front end of the development, I'll have a team. So I'll have an engineer, a planner, probably a surveyor, probably a landscape architect, and a whole big team, depending on how big the development is. And I'm mostly in the background. It's a lot of the engineering and planning that is on the actual presentation side, but I'll be in the background making sure nothing bad happens, and if we need to preserve a record for any kind of appeals, that's me.
Okay.
I'm more of a team member when it comes to the big developments, but every now and then I'll lead it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're a young woman, and you've accomplished a whole lot in a little bit of time.
Thank you.
It's really remarkable. I'm very impressed with you. I always have been.
Thank you.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, you were around 24, 25 when you got elected to the House of Representatives.
I think I was officially 26 when I got elected. I was 25 when I started running. It was about an 18-month campaign, so I aged a little bit in that 18 months. I was very young. I was not the youngest representative, though, surprisingly.
Really?
So there's a representative out of Pasco County, I believe. She holds the record. So you have to be 21 on the day of election to be elected at House of Representatives. She was 20 years old when she ran her campaign. She turned 21 the week before Election Day.
That's cutting it
So
close.
she will, unless somebody is 21 on Election Day, I think she'll always hold that record.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it's pretty cool, though.
That really is. I love seeing young people get involved in government and public service.
Well, and it's surprisingly a young House. If you look at the federal level, I mean, you have 435 representatives, and the average age is probably up in the 60s and 70s, but our average age is in the high 30s, I think. Yeah. So it's pretty cool to have, actual young people, working people that are making decisions.
I think it's fantastic. I think we need more of that.
Yeah, I think so too.
So at what point did the thought enter your mind to go into public service, and especially political public service?
Yeah. my family's been in it for a while. I remember when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, my dad ran for school board. And
That's Andy, by the way, Andy Tuck.
Yes. And I just loved it. My mom, I mean, she's a school teacher, so she's political all her life. She has 120 people that she deals with, little people that she deals with every single day. So she did not like the politics of it. She did not like the dinners and all that. And I was the cute little kid that got to go with them because you can't bring your spouse, you bring your kid. So I loved it and loved the attention and all that. But I actually saw how he was able to help people in a meaningful way. Like you can always say, you know, yeah, I'll help you this, that, and whatever. But he was actually able to take a decision to the board and to help, you know, if your kid needed a waiver for one reason or another, he actually was able to help. And nobody cares more about things than their kids. So, you know, it was pretty cool to see. So I always knew I wanted to. At 25, I didn't know that was going to be the path, but timing was right, you know, and I'm glad I did it because I think if I had been, you know, married with kids in the middle of a career, I don't know how people do it. It's a big time commitment.
Sure it is.
It was sold to me as, well, you know, a part-time legislature, you're up there 2 months a year, and I'm not. I'm up there 6 months a year for the most part. I'm very blessed that my job allows me to work remote quite a bit, but it's not part-time.
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my son Harrison is a city councilman, and the amount of work that takes blows me away.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone to be in the state legislature. No, there's no way that's a part-time job.
Well, and local level's even tougher because, I mean, you're dealing with people's code enforcement and lawns, and, you know, my neighbor hasn't mowed their lawn in 5 weeks. What's going on here? And that kind of thing.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like an HOA.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like an HOA. That's a really, really good point. I have to plug in my phone, because that's what's controlling the cameras. You're in District 83. You represent District 86. So what counties are included in that? So
I have Highlands, Glades, Okeechobee, and Hardee. I'm the only representative in all 4 of those counties. When I first started, so whenever you have a bigger county, it's split into multiple representatives, multiple districts. So when I first started, I had Highlands, Glades, Okeechobee, and a sliver of St. Lucie County. And when you have a sliver of a county, you get to be in a delegation. So you get to have, you know, other representatives who you go, you know, help them and they help you and all that. And now it's just me in 4 counties. So it's been an exercise in explaining the rural issues to urban representatives and that kind of thing. So it's been interesting. But yeah, I have all 4 counties. I have 8 cities or municipalities, I should say. So yeah, big district.
Do you have to? You don't have to do whatever, but do you go to these other places very often? Do you have offices there like you do here?
I have an office in Okeechobee. I'm looking for one in Hardee County. We haven't found one just yet because they're going through a massive government building restructuring right now. It's going to be amazing when it's finished. It's a multi-year project though, because typically you can get some free or cheap office space in like the government buildings, but they're doing a lot of restructuring right now. So,
well, good for them.
Yeah, it'll be cool when it's done. But yeah, I have an office in Okeechobee. I have an office here. I'm in Glades County fairly often because I travel south quite a bit. So, you know, I'll stop in and say hi to some folks if they're around. But I try to make it out to all of my places. Okeechobee's the toughest, but whenever I'm going to, I have some clients in St. Lucie, so whenever I'm going to St. Lucie, I try to stop in every now and then.
Okeechobee's a big county.
Big county. Yeah. Big county.
And spread out.
Spread out. It's growing rapidly. They have a Zaxby's there. So
you got a Zaxby's in Okeechobee.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
They have a Zaxby's in Okeechobee, so I always stop at Zaxby's, get my fix for the month and keep on going.
Let's go back. Let's go back farther. You're a daughter of the Heartland, and so
you read my bio.
Of course I did. Of course I did. So it was a postcard.
Oh yeah,
it was a postcard that you sent. It was a mass mailing.
Yeah,
but yeah, we checked it out.
Now, was it your name or Dawn's name on it?
It was on Dawn's name.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a NPA.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, you do you?
I had to expand our mailing list just for you and Harrison.
Oh, did you really? That's funny. This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting. 863-385-5020. You're a daughter of the Heartland. You were born in
I was born in Winter Haven,
Winter
technically.
Haven. Yeah. So were two of our kids.
Yeah, back then it was kind of the only place. My dad was born at the hospital they tore down in Avon Park.
Walker.
Yeah.
That's where I was born.
Yeah, see?
See, we were in the cool kids club.
Well, y'all are the same age. You probably, when's your birthday?
What year?
No. What month?
It's in the summer.
In the summer? Okay, never mind. I was going to say you could have been born the same,
When's his?
December.
Okay, no.
Okay.
So how old is your dad?
He's 50. He was born in 1969.
Okay, he's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are right around. He went through the whole school system here, Sebring High, the whole deal.
So my dad was in Lake Placid.
Your dad was a Green Dragon.
He was. He played baseball. He was a pitcher. So
okay.
anybody who played baseball around that era probably hit against him. He was a phenomenal pitcher. Mom was a Green Dragon cheerleader.
Oh, wow.
So they were the classic jock couple.
Awesome.
They met when they were in 9th grade, so they're high school sweethearts.
How cool is that?
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool, except when I was in high school and I started dating, it was like... No, I'm not going to marry this guy. My parents would always say, well, you never know. And I'm like, no, no, I'm 14. Leave him alone.
So you got to, they're Green Dragons, but you got to be a Blue Streak.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
We moved to the big city of Sebring. Well, I went to preschool in Lake Placid. Okay. So my grandma taught preschool at Lakeview Christian. So went to preschool in Lake Placid, then came up. I was actually at Fred Wild for my kindergarten year.
Nice. Who are your teachers at Fred Wild? Do you remember?
Mrs. Winger.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yes. She was cool.
Yep.
Fred Wild. That's my alma mater.
Way back when.
Yep. And that's, Dawn, my wife, Dawn, she taught classes there for decades.
Now, what did she teach?
She had 5th grade, she had 1st grade, she had 2nd grade. So she did she kind of moved all around in there wherever was needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a career at Fred Wild. She started off at Avon Elementary.
Okay.
Started off at the Achievement Center.
Where was that?
You know where Youth Care Lane is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sheriffs had the center, I don't know what they called it, boot camp type thing.
Okay.
And they changed it. There's a new name for it now, but that used to be a school for severely emotionally disturbed students.
Okay.
That's where she started. She got brought in.
So she just jumped right in.
Wally Cox was the principal of Sebring Middle School. He needed a teacher for the Achievement Center. Couldn't find one locally. And so he went scouring the earth to find one, and he called Dawn, got her number somewhere, I don't know, and said, I'm calling from Sebring, Florida. Would you consider coming to move here and teach? And Dawn said to her mom, go get a map. And they found a map, and they found Sebring, and she said, okay.
Wait, where was she at this point? Michigan.
Yep, she was in Holland, Michigan. She came down to teach for 1 year, decided to stay for a 2nd year, and during that 1st year, I became her teacher's aide.
Classic love story.
The rest is history. So yeah, that's that.
Okay.
So all that to say, we were talking about your schooling. We were talking about you went to Fred Wild, and then that got me off on a tangent. So from Fred Wild to Sebring Middle School.
Well, from Fred Wild, so we lived in Pinedale off of 98 for a while, and that's why I was zoned for Fred Wild. We moved to Golf Hammock. I went to Sun and Lake.
Okay.
And loved it there. Great. I was on the safety patrol. Yes. So I loved authority from the very beginning, So safety patrol, and then went to Hillgustat, actually. Mom was a teacher there. So I was zoned for Hillgustat, but Mom was a teacher there. Mm-hmm. She actually was part of the original group that started Hillgustat.
Oh, wow.
So I think there's only two of them left now that started the school back in 96. Mm-hmm. So she was a teacher at Sebring Middle for 2 years, and then she moved over to Hillgustat to become she was 6th grade English, and then she got moved to 7th, and now she teaches 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Gotcha.
So she's all over the place.
And your mom's name is?
Sandy. So
is she checking off the days to retirement, or is she going to be one of those teachers that teaches forever?
She will. So she's fairly young to be retired, and that was her first career. She started right out of college. So she is in year 32 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's not going to stop. Yeah. She's not like every school year she's like, I may be done this year and I may, just tap out or whatever, and then come July, she's, this bulletin board's going to say this, and this bulletin board's going to say this, and so yeah, she's not going anywhere anytime soon. And wow. I mean, it made her feel a little old, but there were a couple of students she had that were actually third generation her students. Yeah. So it's
I can see that, but it also is a good feeling.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch.
It really is.
So, and you have, the siblings, and it's, she was actually my teacher, and that was a really fun year, because I had this group of friends that I had basically grown up with. I mean, we had known each other since first grade. We had kind of gone through the school system together. We were best friends. We had this thing called the study group that we never studied, ever, because we were 9, but they all knew, but I looked nothing like my mom, so nobody knew that I was her daughter. So it took about 4 months for people to realize, put Tuck and Tuck together. And,
yes.
and yeah, that's the kid. But when my brother was a student, everybody knew.
What was your brother's name?
Tanner. People may know him. He used to teach. So he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, wow.
From Hank Henry's place, Dragon's Lair. And he taught the kids camp for the last 5 years. Nice. So if your 5-year-old has ever been just grounded by a grown man, it's Tanner.
That's funny. So you're it's just the two of you. It's you and Tanner.
Just two of us.
Okay. And your dad, how many terms? Did he have 2 terms on the school board?
I think he did 2.5. Okay. And then he got appointed to the state board.
Got it.
State Board of Education. Well, I'm sorry. He went State Board of Transportation first. Loved that. Moved to State Board of Education because that was where his heart was. And then he served. So that's the only state board that has term limits. So he served his 8 years on there, and then he got out as I was running.
Gotcha.
So it was a cool transition, because he had been in Tallahassee for the last 8 years, and then I got to be up there too.
Yeah. And you're on your second term.
Third.
You're on your third. This is the third and final, or do you get one more?
I get one more. I'm going to run for one more.
Okay.
I'll fight for it, because it'll be, you kind of work your way up in seniority. So my freshman, we call it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior term. My freshman term, you got to make a name for yourself and all that fun stuff. And then senior year, you kind of get to build the legacy projects. You get to run the legislation you want. You get to bring a lot of money back to your counties, and that's important for our folks. So.
Speaking of that, by the way, thank you very much for bringing us $1.5 million for a new fire truck.
Yeah.
And give or take a few dollars, $400,000 for radios for the first responders.
Something like that.
Thanks for that.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really cool. What's really interesting and neat about getting to work with these smaller counties and smaller cities is that a lot of them don't know that they can ask for this money. And you may not get it. You shouldn't budget based on getting it, but it's just kind of a really good stopgap for them. So I'm looking forward to when that comes in, and I hope that I get free reign on the ladder truck. I'm looking forward to, I'm scared of heights, so I'm not going to take it too far up, but I'm just let me take it for a spin. Just let me, we'll see.
That's cool. Well, thank you for giving us giving us most of the money towards a fire truck. I don't know how much one of those things costs.
I have no idea, but I hope they buy it quick, because I feel like the prices just keep going up.
No, I think we've already secured it.
Okay.
I think they're building it for us now.
Good.
Yeah, very, very cool. Every morning I take a walk. I drive over here, park my car, and I take a walk around the circle, try to clear my head and get in a good place for the day. And so every morning I walk by the Medal of Honor Park.
Okay, yeah.
You had a part in getting that for us now, didn't you?
I loved it. I was so scared, because I remember it had been a project that they wanted to start for the last, 20 years, I think. And I had literally just won the primary, not even won the general election, just won the primary. And Raymond McIntyre calls me and he says, "Hey, we've been trying to do this project for a long time. We're looking for this amount of money." And I was terrified, because it sounded so important. Both of my grandpas are veterans, so it was very important to me personally. And I thought to myself, I'm a brand new representative. It's COVID. So we were just coming out of COVID. We had no idea what the budget was going to look like. So I said, yeah, no promises, but I will definitely try. I made it my number one priority. Yeah. And one of the most eye-opening things was in Tallahassee, because they were asking for $250,000. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, maybe I can get half. Maybe I can get a fourth. Maybe I can get something. And in Tallahassee, that is nothing.
Really?
So I made it my number one priority. And I remember going to the speaker because my political consultant was a friend of the speaker and on his leadership team. So I had a little bit more access than the average freshman. So I went to the speaker and I said, hey, whatever you need me to do, whatever bill you need me to run, this is my number one priority. And he looked at it and he said, okay, done. So
wow.
That was eye-opening, but also really cool.
Yeah.
So I kept calling them and saying, hey, I think we got it, because nothing's ever final until the governor signs it. That's so when he finally signed it, I was like, this is insane. And looking back now, I think about it and I'm like, man, I should have asked for a little bit more, but no, it was perfect.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, and it turned out beautiful. I mean, it was even more than I even expected. When they first showed me the renderings, I thought this will be an awesome park. It'll be an awesome, place for people to just kind of walk around. Mm-hmm. It's a full building, a full museum, a full everything. It's pretty neat.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for that too.
I was just part of it. That was the biggest community team effort I'd ever seen. I mean, you had the city, you had the county donating the land, you had the construction folks that were in-kinding operations and labor and things like that. So the biggest community support I've ever seen.
Real labor of love.
Yeah. A
whole lot of people on that one.
Yeah. And incorporating the old Girl Scout house, I mean, that was really cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what did they actually, they took some of the wood or something? What did they do?
They took some of the wood and I'm wanting to say inside you can see a display of it because they were originally going to relocate it and I guess they went inside and it was just a little bit too far gone. Yeah. So they've done a really good job at preserving what they could and still honoring it. So
yeah, that was a real historic building.
Oh yeah.
Hated to see it go. But,
yeah.
I mean, time marches on and it's just it's the way it is.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
For everything, right?
Yeah. This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. Due to operator error, this episode of The Havery Show is presented in audio form only. Sincere apologies are extended. Another thank you, by the way. And this is one that you were obviously a part of, but this was a real team effort by the legislature. And it's SB 56, Geoengineering and Weather Modification Activities Law.
Yes.
This is a big one for me, and I'll tell you why. It's probably been, I've been trying to figure it out, but at least 15, 18 years, if not longer. I've been noticing, I take a lot of walks by myself and with Dawn. We like walks, and I love looking at the sky. And 15, 18 years ago, I started noticing these lines. And I didn't pay any attention to it because about contrails. They follow behind jets. It's condensation. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's just moisture and, it's nothing.
Sure.
So I didn't pay much attention to it until I started looking at them a little bit closer and realizing, wait a minute, those are supposed to dissipate. If it's a contrail, it's going to dissipate at basically the same speed as the plane. As the plane moves, the contrail dissipates. And then I started noticing they're lingering for hours, and then I started noticing they're spreading farther and farther apart. Mm-hmm. Then I started noticing them other places too. And it's been bothering me for a really, really long time, for years, and I don't care if people think I'm crazy or silly. The earth, the atmosphere, the sky, those are kind of important things to me.
Yeah, a little bit,
you know? So I don't want stuff getting sprayed all over the skies above Sebring or above anywhere else. Watkins Glen, same thing. There would be days that it was crystal clear, absolutely perfectly crystal clear. And then you would see them zipping around. And then they're in a grid pattern. And it used to be almost discrete. It's not discrete anymore. Mm-mm. It's just there. So what can you tell me about SB 56?
So SB 56 started as a lot of concerned citizens bringing this to our attention. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I was a little bit concerned about as an ag person was we do a lot of spraying, chemical spraying by plane. So the original version of the bill banned literally everything, and we were a little bit concerned about that. We were able to tailor it to just chemicals and I don't know what you call it, dispersions, I guess you could say, that were specifically meant to modify weather. What was interesting, and I think you said you read it, I think we've talked about this. So whenever you have a House and a Senate bill, we have a team of really, really, really smart people. We have attorneys, we have policy analysts, we have subject matter experts, we have everybody in the background, staff, who, whenever we file a bill, whenever the bill is going to move through a committee, they write a bill analysis on it. And they do all kinds of research. Why the bill is filed, where it came from, where it's going, what the intent is, things like that. It's very useful for us. I mean, like, for example, whenever we had the big property insurance bill, I know that I pay property insurance. I don't know much else. So being able to read that analysis gave me the background knowledge that I needed. What I didn't realize was the bill analysis pointed out a bunch of these experiments that have been happening that were weather modification experiments that we had no idea about. Now, they weren't in Florida, so, how are we supposed to know? Right. But I just had no idea that it was even happening, and all the way back to the 70s, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, not
Absolutely.
Not recent. So that was eye-opening for us. But basically what the bill does is it creates a hotline, an email, a specific department within the Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, where citizens can report this, and they have to investigate it. If the investigation yields something more than just a contrail, then they have to investigate it further and possibly issue fines. So it really gives some teeth to what could potentially be something dangerous for us. So it's a pretty cool.
I think it is
cool
too,
bill.
and I understand crop dusting and that type of thing. So yeah, for me, I would have looked at it from an altitude standpoint.
Sure.
You can spray anything under a certain, not anything, but you can spray what's legal and what's beneficial under a certain altitude. But once you get above a certain altitude, you can't spray anything anymore.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Yeah, we were. So there were a couple things we were concerned about. The ag aspect was a big one. Mosquito control was another big one. So I did. So Lee County mosquito control helps Glades County a little bit. So I went and met with them, and they did a helicopter tour. And as far up as they go, that's what I was concerned about a little bit. But I think we were able to tailor it so that it actually has teeth for what we needed to have teeth for. So I'm looking forward to it. I haven't heard of any instances where something's been reported and further investigated, but it's only been, I think it's been a month and a half or so.
The law went into effect July 1st.
Sure. So
and I think they have until October to establish I don't want to call it a hotline because it's not a phone call, not a number you call. There's a form that you fill out.
Okay.
So I think that goes into effect October, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense because we would need time to make the department DEP and all that.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. I like I said, I didn't even know these experiments were going on until I read the bill analysis. So being able to report these things in real time and investigate them is going to be important, especially, our climate.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
I am too. And there's a lot of folks who just immediately write that off as right-wing conservative conspiracy theory stuff, and they just say it's silly or, ridiculous. But there's no way that it can be silly or ridiculous or unfounded if the Senate and the House and the governor all see merit to it. I don't think that you would know the answer to this, but do you know how the vote went? If it was it along party lines or was it pretty much bipartisan? Do you know how that went?
I need to look. And what's interesting that I've found is something is either right wing or left wing. Conspiracy theory, depending on who's supporting it.
Exactly.
So I need to go back and look at the vote because I know it was called right-wing conspiracy for a while, but at the same time, I remember a very similar bill going through that was called left-wing conspiracy because at the time, it was a Democrat governor that was supporting it. So, it kind of depends on who's driving the narrative, but I'm wanting to say it was party line. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, the right wing and the left wing are both part of the same bird. And we're all in this together. And as soon as we get our act together and realize that we're all in this together, then we're going to do a whole lot better than we're doing now because the division is ripping us apart. It's killing us.
That's one thing that I love about the state because I went to D.C., I think it was back in 2022. Yeah, 2022, and saw Rick Scott. Visited with him in his office. There was about 3 feet of snow on the ground, and there were no cars driving, so I had to trek 2 miles to the Capitol and was late. So I'm glad he still took my meeting. But I just kind of asked him, what's the climate up here? And it was, if you're a Republican or a Democrat and you get into the elevator with the opposite party, you're not even making eye contact. Wow. And what I love about the state house, state senate, is it's not like that. I mean, we have probably 10% of issues where we just morally disagree on something, usually the social issues, but we just morally disagree, and that's going to have to be what it is. But then we have about, I think 80% of bills are unanimous, and you take like one vote out of that and you get to about 85 or 88%. You get a really high percentage of unanimous votes. And we're all friends up there, which is pretty cool. Like, I mean, I co-sponsor Democrat bills. They co-sponsor my bills all the time because it's what's best for the people. Like I had a bill this year. It was called insulin administration, where if you are developmentally disabled and you have diabetes, you have to have a nurse or a doctor administer your insulin. So there were people, sometimes in their 30s, who had developmental disabilities, and they had to go to a nursing home because you had to have a nurse. Well, you couldn't be in a group home and have like a parent or a direct support supervisor administer your insulin. So we changed that, and I think we got probably 20 co-sponsors, both Democrat and Republican, because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see that dynamic because all over the news you see that we hate each other. We really don't. Just those 10% issues.
Yeah, for sure. That's very cool. We were talking about a week ago. I saw you at Faded, and I think it was anyway. You said something in passing that stuck with me, and I want to make sure that I understood it correctly.
Oh no,
because I might have misunderstood. Is it true that the state of Florida requires the legislature to pass a balanced budget and there is no deficit spending period in the state of Florida?
It is constitutional that we have to pass a balanced budget.
Wow.
And it's very interesting how it works. And I've never paid much attention to how it works. I know what our top line is, I know what our bottom line is, and I know what we're spending things on. But the actual process to get to it was really brought to light this year because we had an extended session and we had some arguments over the budget. So what we do, there's a revenue estimating conference, the REC, that meets, I think it's every 2 months or something like that. And they just continually monitor our revenues. And they look at a rolling average of the last 5 years of revenue and spending to project the next 5 years of revenue and spending. And what we do is we agree on a tax package every year. So that's where your sales tax holidays come in, your gas tax holidays come in, and your back to school tax holidays, things like that. And we agree on a tax package. Then with the tax package, we estimate the revenue that we're going to have for the next fiscal year. And then at that point, that's our spend. Now we can agree or disagree on the amount of reserves we have each year. So for example, this year, the Senate, the House, and the governor all put out 3 different budgets, and they were all different levels, but it all has to be within that spending limit. So I think we ended up with, I'm going to get the number wrong, 117 billion this year. Which was lower than the previous years. So we have more in reserves. We're trying to pay down our debt quite a bit. But yeah, it's constitutional that we pass a balanced budget.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you know any idea how many other states may or may not have that?
I don't know. I know there are several that try. I don't know of too many states that it's a constitutional mandate. So what a lot of people don't realize, literally our only job is to pass a balanced budget. We could walk in there and the speaker, now this wouldn't fly in the Senate probably, but I mean, the House rules are made, and we could pass a House rule that says we're not passing any bills. Done. And we pass a budget, and that's our only constitutional mandate.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that either.
So it's pretty cool the way we do it. Now, there are several states like Texas. I believe they have a balanced budget. What I think is interesting in Texas is they do every 2 years. So they were truly a part-time legislature. They're only in there every 2 years. So they have to budget for every 2 years, which I think is crazy because it's it fluctuates so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, but yeah,
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. It keeps us under control, it keeps spending under control, and it makes sure that we're actually using taxpayer funds for what it needs to be used for. Now, the tricky part is in the next several years, like for example, Medicaid. Medicaid is an entitlement, and it will keep increasing every single year, even if we leave eligibility alone. There have been several conversations mostly from one side about expanding eligibility for Medicaid. I think that's a non-starter, but the fees keep going up, and that keeps eating away our budget. Teacher salaries, we constantly want to increase that.
Yes.
It's going to eat away our budget. Police and fire salaries and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see as we get further along how we find new revenue as COLA, cost of living adjustment, things like that. So yeah, but the budget's a really interesting process. We learned a lot this year.
Yeah, that would melt my mind. I'm not a numbers guy. I don't like numbers. I don't like dealing with money. I don't like any of that. That would just
No, I'm right there with you. Especially when you get into like for the school budget, for example. I ran the school choice bill back in 2023. I learned a lot about the school funding sources when I did that bill because so much of it was dependent on the tax credits we're using and things like that. And the way that, if money comes from this pot, then it's restricted to this. And I don't know who keeps track of it. I'm glad somebody does. It's not me. But it's very interesting to learn about.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Your dad was on the school board. Your grandma is a county commissioner.
Yes.
Arlene. She's been on there for a couple of years now.
She got elected in 2018.
Yeah.
She was on the town council of Lake Placid first, and then she was the town clerk for about 20 years. So I remember when I was little, I used to come in there, and her big thing was snowmen. So we'd get her a new snowman every year. Her office was decorated with snowmen, and I'd sit there and play pinball on her computer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it drove everybody crazy, but somebody's trying to pay their utility bill, and I'm back there. Pew, 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 pew.
I remember that. Yeah. So is she? I don't remember term limits for the county. Are there term limits for the county?
There's no term limits. There's a bill every single year to try to get term limits. I struggle with. So I like term limits as a concept. I struggle with. So the last bill that came about was a mandatory 8-year that was retroactive. So if you've already served your 8 years, you're out automatically.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I like 12 years a little bit more because here in rural communities, it's really tough to find people to run. And especially when we have the districts, like in Glades County, I think I have about 2,500 residents, about 1,800 that are voting. So, finding 5 people that are in the separate districts, it's really tough.
Yeah.
So I'm cautious about that for rural communities, but I think for certain communities, I wouldn't mind seeing like a tiered population system kind of thing. However, that bill comes out this year, it'll happen again. So paying attention to that. But no, she got elected in 2018. She got reelected in 2022, and she's up in 26 now. She may run again. I think she should, but that's still up in the air.
Yeah, pretty cool that your family is so active.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. The conversations at family dinner are pretty fun because we're talking about millage rates and stuff like that. But
you ever at a family dinner? I'm just completely out of curiosity. Has it ever come up at a family dinner about the time that your dad called the cops on me? This episode of the Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting. 863-385-5020. Has it ever come up at a family dinner about the time that your dad called the cops on me? Has that ever come up at a family dinner, Kaylee?
It has. It has. I still remember the phone call that I got. So, do we tell the story?
Sure.
Tell the whole story?
Sure.
It's a long story. So, I think you know the story.
I know it intimately. I was involved in it.
So there was a guy who was breaking into my dad's warehouse, and my dad has a warehouse out on Deer Run off of 98, and there was a guy that kept breaking in, so he installed cameras to catch this guy. So got some really clear shots and some so the police were very well aware of who this guy was, what he looked like, things like that. Hadn't caught him yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure out which side of the story to tell first. So my dad, I'm in Tallahassee. We are in budget conference. I am fighting for the fire truck.
Yes.
So I get a text from my dad that says, "Does Harrison's dad still own Musicland?" I said, "What a weird question to ask me at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday." So I said, "Yes." And he said, "Is it rented?" I said, "Are you trying to rent it? Like, what is going on here?" And then it dawned on me. So I thought to myself, I really need to make this phone call. So I called my dad and I said, if the conversation that you're asking me about is what I think it is, please do not call the police. And he said, "Well, I already have. Please tell Harrison I'm sorry. Please don't tell Harry." So for everybody listening at home, my father was driving downtown and you were on one of your walks.
Yep.
And just happened to be wearing a very similar outfit to the person who kept robbing my father. So when you walked into Musicland, my dad was sitting in the adjacent parking lot and called the police and said the burglar is in Musicland. So the police show up, which I think would make a great marquee sign for you, by the way. The burglar is in Musicland.
Yes,
You'll have a lot of questions.
Yes.
So yeah, I think you got a police visit.
I did.
That morning.
There's a rap on the door, and I opened it up, and there was an investigator and a deputy.
Yeah, the only part of the story I don't know is how that conversation went.
Oh, it was great. I said, "Hey, what's going on? What can I do for you?" And he said something about something, and I said, "Well, come on in." So they came in, and we just started chatting, and he, as soon as I opened the door, the deputy said to the investigator, "See, I told you that wasn't him. I told you I know him." So they came in and explained the whole situation to me. Never mentioned your dad. Never said a word. Just that we got a call about someone who fit the description of someone who had been doing some burglaries. And I was fascinated. And he said, "You want to see?" And I said, "Yeah." And he opened up his phone and showed me the picture. And it did look just like me, right down to the Crocs. And I was wearing a hat that morning. And it did. It did look like me. So much so that I was kind of aghast by it. I was like, whoa, yeah, I can see why somebody would make that mistake.
Well, the funnier part was, I'm in Tallahassee. I can do nothing. I'm freaking out. I'm tempted to call Harrison, but I was like, the damage is done. So I'll have a funny story for him on my drive home. The funnier part was, so we used to be BFC members. So the last time my dad saw you, you were still worship leader at BFC. You had a little bit more hair.
Yeah,
and when I called my dad in a panic, he said, "Well, Harry doesn't look like this." And I said, "Have you seen Harry in the last 20 years, Dad?" and he goes, "Well, yeah, but he has like curly hair and he has, this." And so I'm like searching through 301 or Gavigan's or wherever's Facebook page to try to find like one of your ads. And I sent it to him, and I just hear my dad go, "Oh," on the other side of the phone. And I was like,
oh, wow.
I got to wait and hold this story for the right time when everybody's in a good mood.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was the great panic of June 17th, I believe.
It's fantastic. It didn't bother me a bit. It didn't bother me a lick. A few days later, I was taking a walk. I walked over to Harrison's office, and we were chatting about stuff. And I got ready to leave, and I said, "Oh, by the way, the cops came to Musicland the other day." Harrison doesn't laugh out loud a lot, but he busted out laughing. And I should have known at that point something was going on. But anyway, I said, "What is it?" He said, "Nothing. What is it?" "Nothing." "Harrison." He said, Nope. So he would not give it up. And I tried tricking him. I tried strong-arming him. I tried bribing him. I tried everything to give up what he knew about this. He wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't say a word about it. And so he held that doggone secret for way longer than I wanted.
He didn't hold it as well as you think, though. He, because I called him, so I just happened to be driving home that night that it happened. So I called him on my way home, and I said, "I have the funniest story for you. You're never going to believe this." So I told the long version, the non-podcast version. And, I mean, I had a good storytelling. I was in a good storytelling mood, so it was a good story. And he was dying, and he was like, you have to hold this until one day when we can just casually bring up the time that your dad called the police and see if my dad recognizes the story. So we left it for a while, and then finally when we were having dinner that night, he said, "Tonight's the night. We got to tell the story." So I said, "Okay." And then you were in the living room, playing with the kids, and so was Rodney and Sophia. And then all of a sudden he goes, guys, Kaylee has a story. I was like, I never have a story. I never call the family in for a specific story. You're giving it away. This is not how it goes. So he held it for a long time, though.
Yeah.
I give him credit.
He did. And it was worth it. It was good. It was a good story.
But it was a dead giveaway as soon as he called everybody back into the kitchen.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe there was a little ding. I haven't seen your dad in forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he didn't recognize me. I'm not sure if I would recognize him either. I'm not sure if we met on the street, if I would, oh, yeah, Andy.
He looks the exact same. I'm not going to lie. There was no danger of him losing his hair. He's had the shortest hair. I mean, he gets his hair cut every 2 weeks, no matter what. So yeah, he looks pretty much the same. But yeah, he did not recognize you one bit. And I knew exactly how that phone call was going to go, because he doesn't ask permission. He just does it, and then he says sorry afterwards. So I knew he'd already called the police at that point. I knew he had, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the classic. Mm-hmm. This episode of the Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting. 863-385-5020. Mm-hmm. Classic. This has nothing to do with anything, but you know that Mammy saves all your postcards.
Does she?
Oh yeah. Yeah, one of them had some sort of Mother's Day theme.
Yep.
And she that was the one that she talks about. I got a Mother's Day card.
We send Mother's Day cards.
Yeah, she was we have a whole postcard collection.
My favorite are the birthday cards. Have y'all gotten one of those yet?
She has, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't, because I'm NPA.
I told you I expanded the reach
but
just for you.
I haven't gotten a birthday card yet.
Well, you won't tell me when your birthday is.
I'm not going to tell you when my birthday is.
But we have, so my grandpa does caladiums. He's classic caladiums. He breeds caladiums. He's a botanist. So he has 100 different varieties that are all his own, all patented. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. He does naming competitions for them all the time, because you can only have so many weird names before you need help. And so our birthday cards have caladiums on them. Nice. And it's just beautiful. The coolest thing. So it's, I like the birthday cards the best.
We need more caladiums at our house. It just occurred to me. Brian Iacoboni used to drop off some caladium bulbs for us years ago. But yeah, we have a Florida home. We need to have some more caladiums. We need to talk to Mammy about that and get her on it.
Well, now, I mean, they're in bloom now. Yeah. But the Caladium Festival's going on next weekend, so y'all need to go down.
We're going to be on vacation. I know. Well, we lost out on a big one there.
Yeah.
What do you like to do? What's I know your favorite thing on the planet is being in session in Tallahassee, but other than that, what are the things that you really enjoy doing?
I hate this question because it makes me sound so boring, because I'm constantly working, so I'll go for a run, I'll go work out. I like traveling, but I hate the beach, so it's tough to travel here.
You don't like the beach?
I don't. I don't like the sand.
Yeah.
I don't like feeling sticky. I feel like I can never get clean after the beach. But I remember, so when I did my first triathlon, I did the swim. I got out of the water, and they had like a pad there for you so that you're not stepping on the sand.
Sure.
And my dad went to hand me something or take my goggles or whatever it was, and I stepped into the sand, and I had sand in my shoe for the entire rest of the triathlon, and I was just losing my mind. So no, I don't like sand. Yeah. But I like traveling, going and give me live music and a public sidewalk to people watch, and you can put me anywhere.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's I'm easy, but
that's cool.
No beach.
That's cool. So so are you more of a city girl? Even though you're a daughter of the Heartland?
I wouldn't say city necessarily.
If Sebring is a city.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely a city girl if that's the case. Right. I'm not big into crowds. I will say though, like if it's a city like St. Petersburg, I went to law school in St. Pete. Loved it. If I can park and walk anywhere, then I'm fine. I don't like driving in traffic. I don't like waiting in restaurants. Like I'm fine with a crowded restaurant,
Sure.
but don't make me wait for an hour. The food's probably not that good.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way with that too. I would just as soon go down the road than wait 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I just like to hang out, I do run a lot, try to at least, and stay healthy that way and get some stress out. But otherwise, I don't have too many of those time-consuming hobbies.
Yeah, that's cool. What about where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? I know that's pretty far, but start with 5. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know if it involves politics or not. I think politics has messed up personal life a little bit.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way necessarily, but like right now, I'd love to have kids someday and all that fun stuff. So, I see myself kind of diving into my career a little bit. For the first time in a very long time, I just love my job. I adore my job. I'm the city attorney for a couple different places. I'm the general counsel for a couple different kind of government adjacent entities. So I love doing that. I love advising. I love helping solve problems and working with other entities to help. So I see myself kind of diving into my job a little bit. I'd love to stay here. Both sides of my family are all here. So I don't see the purpose in leaving and, having to drive 2 hours to see the family that I could just see.
Absolutely.
Every day. So yeah, I see myself diving into my job a little bit more and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, cool.
And I think at some point, if I'm ever very independently wealthy and don't have to worry about working, then maybe I'll get back into politics. But right now, I'll look at that further down the road.
Sure. Well, that's exciting. You've got, you've just got your whole future ahead of you.
Everybody keeps saying that, but everybody said it at 20 and 25 too, and now I feel like I'm.
It's a graduated scale, because if you're 95 and you're talking to a 70-year-old, their whole future is still ahead of them. So it's a graduating scale, but it does lose its efficacy after about 35, 40. Then when people say that to you, it kind of is a little hollow.
Yeah, I can see that.
You're 29 or 30 years old.
31.
31?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when you said 35,
You're over the hill.
I know.
It's over for you.
It's the worst.
Oh, Kaylee.
It's the worst.
Life is over.
I know.
31.
I creak when I get up and...
Holy moly, 31 to be 31 again. Youth is wasted on the young.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
I'm trying, though. Yeah. I'm trying to be better.
I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all your accomplishments. I'm proud of you for being a public servant, and I think it's wonderful. So you keep up the good work.
Thank you.
If you ever need anything when you're in Tallahassee, if you ever need some advice or anything like that,
y'all need to come up.
We would love that.
Yeah, come on up.
We talked about it. We've talked about it several times, me and Dawn, about hanging out with you guys and checking things out. And
yeah. So this next session, it's an early session because it's an election year. So we end in March, which it's beautiful up there then. But the next session, when we start in March, there's this thing called Springtime Tallahassee. So the pollen is awful, so you got to take some Benadryl, but everything is in bloom. The weather is beautiful. There's a massive arts and crafts festival. There's concerts, just everything.
It's in March?
It's in March.
Oh, yeah. We'll go.
So it's usually this past year, it was the last weekend of March, but it's usually mid to late March, and it's just gorgeous.
I need to put it on my calendar now.
Yes.
Like right after we close off the
Yeah, because it'll be my last March in
Oh,
Tallahassee.
yeah. We definitely need to check that out for sure.
So it'll be good.
Very cool.
But
It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
yeah, thank you for having me.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And congratulations on a stellar career thus far and what only is bound to be more success in your future. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We're out.
Was this thing plugged in the whole time?
The Havery Show has been brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.